Now, while she's struggling to attract the vote of black men, she's completely lost the vote of Border Patrol agents. They're threatening to quit en masse if Harris is re-elected. Have a listen to Paul Perez. He's the leader of the National Border Patrol Council, saying if Harris wins the presidency, not only are we all walking off the job, but the whole country's going to go to hell.
If we allow Border Czar Harris to win this election, every city, every community in this great country is going to go to hell.
Now, according to federal data quoted in the New York Post, since the Biden-Harris administration has been in power, Border Patrol agents have had about 10 million interactions with illegals on the southern border. 17% of Border Patrol agents have quit the job in the last 3.5 years. And the reason is pretty obvious. One of the Border Patrol agents quoted in the New York Post said that the Harris administration obviously couldn't outwardly say, don't enforce the border restrictions, but they've done everything to make our job as inefficient as possible. And so they're being hamstrung in doing their job. They're incredibly frustrated, so frustrated that for the first time in history, the agency actually hired a suicidologist, because in 2022, 15 Border Patrol agents took their own lives, presumably because of such low morale. They say that she's acting like she really cares about border security, which just rubs salt into the wound, because they know that's not happening. So they're threatening to quit en masse, but Donald Trump, he's promising to employ thousands more Border Patrol agents, give them a 10% pay rise and a $10,000 signing-on bonus. Here's Donald Trump.
But after I win, I will be asking Congress immediately to approve a 10% raise, I haven't had one in a long time, for all agents, and a $10,000 each retention and signing bonus.
Liz, this to me is Trump's winning policy, because it's undeniable what's happening. And the more the Border Patrol agents speak out to testify to what's happening, to the fact that when Biden and Harris visited, they quickly cleaned up things only to return it to its normal chaos after they left. The more they speak, the more Americans realise what's happening. And Trump should just hammer that issue home over the next couple of weeks.
Oh, this was said at the very beginning of the campaign. If all he does is talk about illegal immigration for the next few months, right up until polling day, he has got this in the bag. And that has proved true throughout the campaign. And nobody is more aware of the dire situation than those who have been on the border, who are technically charged with not letting illegals through. And yet, on this very show, we have shown footage of them being instructed to cut the wire to let illegals into the country. So these guys are completely demoralised. They've had 4,000 people leave since the Biden administration started, as more and more of them recognise this job's a joke now. We're literally just facilitating people coming in instead of keeping people out. And no doubt, they're well aware of, as all Americans are, who have seen their cities overrun, their taxpayer dollars squandered on people who don't even belong in their country. They're well aware of the fact that Americans do look at them and blame them. How could you not? What are you flogs doing on the border if you're not stopping such a mass exodus into our country from over the Mexican border? So can you blame them? And no wonder they're saying that each of them in this article, so many individual agents are sharing their own stories and saying, this is why we're just waiting to see what happens this election. And if she gets back in, we are out. This is our hope. If Trump gets back in, we'll stay. And you can only imagine what detrimental effect that will have even more on the border. They've only got 19,000 left as it is in the Border Patrol. How many more thousands will leave? And Kamala, they obviously don't believe her promises that she is going to change and she is going to be strong on borders if she wins the presidency. Otherwise, they'd hang around and find out. But nope, they say election day, we're out if she gets the gong.
Why would you believe her? She hasn't stood by any other convictions she's ever had in her life. I mean, one of the border agents who was quoted in the New York Post saying, you know, if Kamala was elected again, he said, I'm not doing this shit again. I mean, and why, you don't blame him for that. Why would you hang around for another 4 years of twiddling your thumbs and sitting on your hands? You've been charged with doing a job, and presumably you believe in that job. You go and do something like that, much like being a copper, because you want to protect your country and the people of your country, and you're being told, no, you can't do your job, just let them all in. I mean, it's the same as wondering why people don't want to be coppers down in Victoria. You know, nothing to do with Daniel Andrews using them like his Gestapo during COVID and making them go out and fire rubber bullets at people who were protesting against the government. Of course you don't want to be part of that. That's not what you signed up to do. There is no reason that they would believe that she would do anything about it. But of course, like we've talked about many times before, this has all been by design. The point is to let all of these people in, then give them a pathway to citizenship so that they can eventually go off and vote. And who are they going to vote for? They'll vote for the party that allowed them to come into the country. Or they just get on the voter roll now, and then the DOJ bans states from taking them off the voter roll, and they can go and vote anyway. And all the polling shows that behind the economy, the number one issue people are worried about in the US is illegal immigration,
Rightly
including
so.
Democrat voters, which is clearly why Kamala is now talking about, oh, bring back the border bill, I'm going to do something about it. But it is one of the most serious issues in the United States. Trump needs to keep driving it home on the way home to November the 5th.